Hey, I wanted to take a minute and talk about some of the amazing things that have come out of our little COVID-19 pandemic and having to shift to hybrid learning and remote learning in some cases. Um, there has been a lot of really great, especially for the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District, there's been a lot of really amazing positives that have come out of the situation. And I would challenge everyone to please start thinking about how our new learning and teaching situation has benefited their students and benefited them. So the first thing is that we are empowering students to make decisions about their learning, and students and families. So they're figuring out that they can advocate for themselves and they can decide what, where, and when they do the learning and meeting standards. Students are right now being forced to balance their priorities in a very relevant way. Many of them have started working or have been helping their families and are learning to balance that home work life experience that all of us have to do as adults. And teachers, therefore, are learning how to support their students with that balance. Flexibility. Students are empowered to choose how they learn content just by virtue of necessity. We have to give all kinds of different options for families and students, and that's amazing. That's awesome. They're also empowered to choose how they meet their standards. So they're being given a ton of different tools and a ton of ways to show what they know. And really, that's what good education is about. This situation is actually, when it comes to teaching and learning, I know it feels really uncomfortable for a lot of us, but it's really more efficient. Once we get good at this is really a more efficient model. We are free to focus on teaching very specific skills because of the material available to students everywhere all the time. We don't have to paint with the broad strokes that we used to. We can really figure out what our students specifically need and then target our energy to that. And we can also target our energy on the students that really are struggling and really need our attention. We don't have to consider the whole classroom. We don't have to make sure that we're hitting every single thing for every single student. We know that most of the students are going to be able to manage things on their own, and that most of the students are going to be able to get most of the information. So we can really focus our energy on what, who, and where it is needed. And then the data-driven decisions portion of our personalized learning plan, we know that one size does not fit all in the school district. One thing that our website is constantly saying is 42 diverse schools. One size does not fit all. And we know that families on the Kenai Peninsula are diverse as well as our schools. They need lots of different things, and they are now know that they can advocate for that. So we are learning to be flexible in order to meet the needs of our families. And we also know that if we make a decision today, because of learning how to flex and give and pivot because of the virus, we can continue to flex and give and pivot in the future. We are capable of doing this. It might not always be comfortable, but we have the ability, we have the skills, we have the tools to change when we need to. So if a family makes a decision or students make a decision and it turns out that decision isn't working, we don't have to stick with that. We can change and work with the student. So really, hybrid learning isn't for everyone, but for many, it is everything. We don't need to stick with an old model or go back to an old model. We can take the best out of this situation and move forward and continue to use that. And I'm hoping that other people see that opportunity as well.